Right, so we are here with our cask update for the White Peak cask on Still In Cask. I am Danny from Still In Cask out in Wellington, New Zealand. We have Liam from Still In Cask over the corner.
In Bristol.
In sunny Bristol. And joining us is Richard from Exploring English Whisky, who is going to tell us a bit about this cask. But first, he's going to tell us about what Exploring English Whisky is.
Hi guys, well thank you very much for having me on for a chat. Exploring English Whisky is, as it says on the tin, we're a membership organisation who love English whisky, and we do everything from the English Whisky Festival, which very excitingly is going to be a physical event this year in Birmingham on the 19th of November. Previously we've done two online events during a certain restriction that has plagued our lives, literally. And yeah, we've got about 100 members at the moment and steadily growing. But essentially, we exist to promote, enjoy, and shout from the hilltops about English whisky and the wonderful things that the distilleries like White Peak are doing at the moment. So,
yeah, we met about a year ago, didn't we? But how long has English whisky been going for? Exploring English whisky. I know how long English whisky has been going for.
Well, English whisky in the modern sense is about 15 years, because that's how old English Whisky Company turns this year. So Exploring English Whisky, about 2 years, 2.5 years. We sort of started unofficially around St. George's Day in sort of 2019, I think. And then we did our festivals in 2020 and 2021. And it's kind of just grown from there. I kind of quit my job at the end of last year to try and run this and other things that I do whiskey related, and so yeah, I'm kind of lots of fingers in lots of pies at the moment, but this is a huge part of what I do, and the cask side of Exploring English Whisky for me is probably the most exciting thing after the festivals, because it allows us to, through Still In Cask, which is such a wonderful platform, make casks of English whisky available to our members.
I did actually have the inaugural release the other day
share
from White
Peak thing, which is
I don't know, you've got one, have you?
Yeah, I saw that over your shoulder.
Yeah.
This beautiful bottle.
It's a very beautiful bottle, and it was good liquid as well. I enjoyed it, but it'd be good to try some of their younger stuff.
Yeah. So for those, anyone that doesn't know. So Still In Cask, you can head to Still In Cask and buy shares in casks of young spirit from some really interesting distilleries around the world, and then regularly we provide these cask updates where we get to taste the liquid and give you guys an update on how those spirits are maturing, so you can learn about the process between the conversation between the spirit and the wood, and how these spirits are evolving, which is great for us because we get to taste some awesome liquid, and hopefully great for you guys because you can see how that liquid, learn how that liquid is aging and maturing, and get a chance to buy in on these casks. So yeah, if you could tell us a bit more about this particular cask. Obviously, me and Liam have got our sample bottles. And,
we've got a very generous sample.
Richard gets the big boy, yeah.
Yeah, well, because we've got so many members and wanting to get the liquid out to as many people as possible, we got the team to draw us a slightly larger sample than you would normally do. Our cask was the 92nd cask laid down in 2021. It is a 200-litre ex-bourbon barrel from Heaven Hill distillery in Kentucky. And yeah, it was laid down in May 2021, so it's coming up to a year, just shy of a year, and it was filled at 60.2%, which is their standard ABV for casks that are going to have a much shorter maturation, and then they've got different ABVs where they know that they're going to lay down things for longer. So it's kind of in White Peak's view, it's the optimum ABV for something that you're going to release sort of sub 10 years. Yeah. And what else can I tell you about it? It looks amazing. It's kind of as you go into the dunnage warehouse in White Peak, it's the first cask on the right, and it's actually covered in stains from obviously the cask it sat under previously at Heaven Hill. Occasionally drips on it, and it's got this lovely like lacquer and stainage. So it's quite a unique cask. So from a visual perspective, it's well, obviously it's the best cask in the warehouse. But
yeah, because you tried them all presumably.
Sadly, I wasn't allowed to try all sort of 3,000 casks.
I've nearly decided which one, Max. I'm close. I've narrowed it down to 100.
Now, of course, being a new fill cask, there's nothing to try until other than new make until today, really. So that's what's so exciting. And actually have a little sample of the new make, so I can do a direct.
Very nice.
Oh, nice. So this is going to be bottled as a 5-year-old. So the cask sample that we've got with us today was drawn on the 2nd of February, making it 11 months old, or just shy of 11 months old. And this is going to get bottled in March 2026 as a 5-year-old or around there.
There's a 12-month leeway on those dates, isn't there, Danny? So
just to allow, because it's about the liquid, and if it does need a little longer, a little less. All of our distilleries have a predicted bottling date, and then obviously we have a little bit of leeway either side on that. Because the important thing is to get the liquid right, but
the right time.
Yeah, let's see what it tastes like. So it's cask strength. The sample we've got at 60.2. The bit of Sharpie on my bottle says.
Yeah, so that was what the new make went in at, but obviously they haven't measured the ABV on the cask sample, but it'll be similar after 11 months.
Yeah.
Just to give you, so the new make has a really kind of creamy, quite meaty nose actually. I always think of like the actual stones from stone fruits. You get that slightly, it's kind of verging on nutty, slightly almondy, but it's a little bit more earthy than that. But then you go from that and 11 months later to that. And for me, there's this immediate hit of sweetness that you don't get in the new make.
Yeah.
And you can smell the impact the wood has had. It's already starting to like round off those edges. Obviously the new make is not intended to be the finished product, and it's quite raw and it's quite meaty and quite it's delicious. But immediately you're getting a lot more sweetness and depth, and it's still very light. It's still a long way away from what it's going to be in another 4 years' time. But for me, it's hugely promising and hugely exciting. I don't know if you can see the colour difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's quite good for an ex-bourbon, picking up that much colour in 11 months.
It's because it's the best cask, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you picked the best one. But yeah, no. It's got a nice bit of weight on the nose. They said that new make.
Yeah, I was
got plenty of weight to it.
I was reading up on White Peak's new make, and I think it's a 4-day fermentation.
Yes.
So yeah, slightly longer than the industry average, which is good, and I always like to see that in.
So I went up on the 19th of February. We had a members tour of the distillery, which was a good excuse to go and collect our pre-order bottles of their inaugural release, the Wireworks whiskey. And I was so in awe. I was like a fanboy. So in awe of being there, but I was kind of like gazing around, and Max said, "Feel free to, put your head into the fermentation tanks and get a good waft. Just not the last one, which is in the thralls of a very heavy, active fermentation." And of course, there's me going,
CO2.
It's got a massive hit of sort of tropical CO2, and it was like sticking your face in a kind of bag of kids' fizzy sweets and just like inhaling. So it does pay to listen when you're on these tours. But it's a really interesting distillery. It's an old Wireworks factory, thus the kind of twisted coil design on the bottle, and the site's actually split in two by the River Derwent, so you have to cross the river. And we'd had those big storms just before we went. So the day we arrived, they were actually clearing trees and debris off the bridge. Previously, last year, they actually couldn't access the site because the bridge had kind of been structurally compromised by the you're in this kind of weird industrial site, but that's so beholden to the nature around it. You've got this ancient woodland, you've got the river. But the building is phenomenal. I mean, they've taken this husk of an ex-industrial building and they've turned it into just a kind of a celebration of distilling. It's fantastic. So yeah, you've got your long fermentation, you've got stills and still work that are all constructed locally, and they're bespoke stills. So there's no others still like them in the country. They have little variations which make them completely unique. But yeah, ever since I first tasted some early samples of White Peak liquid, I've always been very excited about what their whiskey would taste like. And obviously the Wireworks first release is testament to how great that is. But then something like this, where you're getting a single cask and you're getting the purity of their new make and the purity of that one previous existence in that barrel, that makes it really exciting.
Yeah,
and this is delicious. This has got so much character already, and character that you're picking up from obviously a small amount of character from that wood, but a huge amount of character from that new make. I'm getting, as I say, that sweetness on the nose that comes through for me is coming through as a touch of honey. I get a touch of honey and sort of some dried grass, almost hay-like. Sort of like hay-like honey notes that are sort of a hit between, introducing a sweet but then coming through real savoury.
Yeah. I think for me on the new make, it's much more of a kind of thick, dark honey, almost like a Manuka honey. And then after time in the cask, it's starting to get a bit more vibrant. The sweetness, it's starting to pick up. It's not there yet, but you can imagine in 5 years' time, it's going to have a lot of a kind of lighter honey note.
Yeah, that's
and the peat content
super yum
in this.
So it's a lightly peated new make.
Yeah, it actually, just comparing and contrasting to the Wireworks release, it actually smells and tastes slightly peatier than their Wireworks. I thought the peat in their Wireworks was very light.
Yeah, the Wireworks, I think they've really like reduced the amount that's coming from the peated production side, whereas this obviously is I've had previous samples of White Peak that are even more peated, and I think you can see how they're playing around. And in fact, I think they released a blog article today saying what they've learned from this first release, that how they're potentially going to change things in the future. So I haven't read that yet, but this is an iteration of something. It's a learning curve. They're only a few years into it, and obviously they're going to tweak things and improve things. And so this is very much, and this is what I love about Still In Cask and why people should buy shares, not just of our cask but anyone's cask, is you're really capturing a moment in time that you only normally get through something like an inaugural release. And obviously not everyone could get hold of that, limited numbers of bottles, and it's sold out quite quickly. But you're really capturing a moment that you may never see again. The actual new make recipe might change, or the process might change. And we know at the moment they're distilling 100% local Derbyshire barley, which is completely unpeated. So a release in the future will be a completely unpeated Derbyshire whiskey. This is very much bottling putting into a cask a moment in time, letting it kind of absorb the history of the barrel, and then once it's bottled, you kind of get that marriage of those two things coming together, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, there's the history of what's happening in the distillery at that moment, as you say, and the history of the barrel. Both adding, which is great. Yeah,
and the joy of rarity and uniqueness is that they say this is single cask strength bottling. To get hold of single cask strength bottlings are always going to be unique and interesting, and getting to have that experience, which is why Still In Cask was always aimed at drinkers, as people that whiskey enthusiasts, people that want to take a bottle and drink it and enjoy it and have that unique experience, rather than just stuff ending up for resale and for investment purposes. It is it's getting to actually drink that liquid.
I'm seeing. Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, I totally agree, and I think you never know what a distillery is going to release, but it's for these craft distilleries, it's hard for them to justify releasing cask strength liquid, especially in any kind of significant volume. So to be able to kind of secure your slice of that now, and know that you're going to get to try that in the future, is also, like you say, for the connoisseur, quite an exciting experience. But equally for someone quite new to whiskey, yes, it's going to be a very strong bottling, but you can add some water to it and really understand what a single cask brings to the mix. So most whiskies, as we know, even if they're single malts or single grains, most of them are still kind of a combination of different casks from that single distillery. So to be able to actually take an individual cask and understand what, for instance, a bourbon barrel does to the flavour of the new make, it then allows you to pick up those flavours when you're tasting other whiskies and things that may be more complex and have more parts to them. So I really enjoy doing that and kind of going, oh, okay, so that is pure bourbon, that's pure sherry, that's, you know, pure virgin oak. And then you can marry those things together in your tasting notes, and it kind of gives you that arsenal of, aha, I know where that flavour comes from. So
yeah. Yeah, I've just added a bit of water to that. And I think it's actually better at a lower ABV. It's really starting to open up there. That's what you did as well.
Yeah, I've given it quite a bit of water now, and I'm getting a lot. That initial sort of soft floral honey has jumped into more fruit led. So I'm definitely getting some more sort of juicy fruit. And I can't pin it between stone fruits and tropical fruits. It's not quite got the sweetness of tropical, but it's not quite as soft as a stone fruit. But there's something really juicy in there. Something really sort of.
That's why I was getting for cooked fruits.
Yeah. There's something juicy and fruity right up the front, and then as it sort of drops through, I'm getting a light sort of menthol or eucalyptusy hit towards the back with a little bit more complexity and length.
Yeah, I always like that little bit of menthol in a cask whiskey.
It's just delicious.
Yeah, no, it's really good actually. You know, we get shocked every time we try these young whiskies, Danny, don't we? And so the assumption is always that, oh, it's, you know, it's a work in progress, and you know, there's going to be loads of rough edges to it. But when you actually drink it, it's, especially with the new distilleries, they're often absolutely delicious. And this is a really good example.
Yeah, clearly some people that know what they're doing with their setup and are you know, about the liquid. And you know, liquid, you can always tell a really good liquid first distillery or, you know, liquid focused distillery when you taste their new make or really young. Let's say this is 11 months and that has got bags of character, bags of drinkability, and it's that fine balance between, if you go too delicate, the wood's going to strip it out and there's going to be nothing left in 5 years' time. And if you go too sort of, you go too aggressive, too rough, too sort of rough shot over the production, it's just there's something really sort of not pleasant. Whereas this has got that great balance. There's complexity, there's fruit notes, there's things in there that are going to progress in the next 4 years, as a lot of that sweet American vanillins and spice notes come through to sort of carry it through. This is going to be I'm excited to watch this one grow up.
Yeah. And I'm quite surprised actually, because the microclimate there is quite cool and quite consistent. So I was speaking to Max before, founder of White Peak, for anyone that doesn't know, and he said that they think they have about sort of 2% annual angel share, which you would think would sort of slow down the process of maturation. But this to me feels like something that's done a lot in a very short space of time. So, you know, whether that's testament to the new make, to the quality of the cask, to the environment, you know, probably all those things. But a lot of, you know, White Peak, Cotswold Lakes, you know, a lot of them, not lakes, so, but, you know, a lot of the newer distilleries are obviously playing with STR casks and things that have been specifically designed to create a much more palatable drink at a much younger age. Yet you drink something like this and you go, well, I'm not sure that's even needed. I think if you get everything else right and you have a, you know, really high quality whole cask that's come over from America or from Spain, or even a virgin cask from one of the cooperages like Jensen's, you put a great new make in there, you put it in the right place, and actually just, you know, let it do its thing. And this is testament to those things coming together and creating something very exciting, at least.
I think so, yeah, and not. It's not been messed around with too much, has it? So,
no.
Which is great. Simple ex-bourbon cask, some great new make. Give it some time.
And obviously Heaven Hill, you know, there's so much variation in their output. You know, we don't know exactly what was in this previously, but that's going to have a bearing. You could have 2 Heaven Hill casks that previously held very different liquid, or were stored in different, you know, parts of the warehouse, or the rick house, you know, whatever house it was in, whoever's house it was in. But yeah, you know, that's going to have an impact. So each cask is truly unique. So although it's a White Peak cask and it's White Peak new make, just by default of being in a previously used cask, it's going to be unique to any other single cask, cask owned by a syndicate or a private individual, or potentially in the future another one that comes up on Still In Cask from White Peak. No two casks are ever going to be the same, and that's what makes it really exciting, because you just don't know what it's going to taste like in 5 years' time. This is a good indication, but
yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to 5 years' time. Yeah, and I think 5 years is a good is a good shout for bottling that.
And I bought myself some shares. I don't know if it'd be nice to get any at them.
Yeah, I've got some, but I'm just thinking I might pick up some more.
So we've been saying we've been running a little competition at the moment for people that do buy shares, and by the time this goes out, that might have ended. But basically, we're saving some of this liquid to give samples to sort of the next 10 people that buy a share, so that they can very quickly get on the journey and experience it. So it's not just people that have already got a share, but we're trying to make this liquid available to as many people as possible, and get people excited. So yeah, who knows?
That's pretty good of you. Yeah,
we've sold I think 3 shares since doing that. So by the time this goes out, there might still be the opportunity for people to actually get a sample of this and try it, which I hope is quite unique and quite a good selling point. So.
Yeah, we'll try and get it out. I'll try and get this video out quickly.
Nice, yeah. wait to see how much of it you drink this morning and how your head feels to this evening and how your head feels in the morning, and then.
Well, also, if I have 7 shares purchased by Liam, he's not getting all of the spirit from the bottle.
I got some. I would say no. I would give it to someone else. Richard, English Whisky, Exploring English Whisky, got some things coming up this year. You said about the Whisky Festival.
Yeah, so we are in Birmingham on the 19th of November, which is a Saturday. We will be down in Digbeth, which, if you know Birmingham, is the trendy part of town. Well, as a Londoner, I like to think of it as Birmingham Shoreditch, but I'm sure that'll get me killed.
And in Shoreditch.
But it's a really great area. There's some great bars. It's a great, very vibrant scene. And we're in sort of a space called the Custard Factory, or the Factory Works, which is the big event space there. So it's all very kind of industrial chic, and I think it's going to really, it's a big blank canvas basically, and it will allow us to splatter English whiskey and make a big mark in every sense of the word. So yeah, hopefully we'll have as many English distilleries as possible under one roof. Obviously not everyone has whiskey yet, but hopefully people can come along, even if they're just there to try other people's stuff and to talk to people about their product and share knowledge and meet people for the first time. It's as much for the distilleries and the community within English whiskey as it is for the consumer and the drinker. So hopefully it'll become a little bit of a, I want it to be a festival in the festival sense, not just a load of tables where people go and drink lots of whiskey. I mean, that's obviously a big part of it, but I want it to be a celebration and a real fun, vibrant, dynamic event. So hopefully we'll be able to achieve that in this quirky space we've got.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm going to be there. So quite looking forward to that. Danny, you're not, obviously, are you?
I never say never. It's a long haul flight from New Zealand, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
You've got time to plan it.
Yeah, bags of time. But yeah, so yeah, so for anyone interested that like the sound of that liquid and wants to get involved and doesn't have any cask shares yet, cask shares are still available. StillInCask.com, and it is the White Peak Ex Bourbon number 2. Number 92. As it says, the 92nd cask. So it was a 200-litre bourbon cask that was filled. There are 102 shares left at the time of recording, and it's £40 for a cask share, and it's going to be bottled in March 2026 as a 5-year-old single cask strength whiskey. So get in and get shopping. And check out some of the other distilleries. There's some great distilleries on there. Check out Exploring English Whisky and the upcoming festival. Thanks for.
And what's the website, Richard? What's your website?
So it's literally exploringenglishwhisky.com. I'm just questioning myself there. I think if you put the wrong one, you'll get redirected to the right one, so that's fine. It could be .co.uk. We've been redoing it, so I haven't been using it a lot recently. But if you go on there, you can sign up to our mailing list, and then we'll send you the occasional email with updates on casks, updates on the festival, and we're launching a whole new membership platform. So you can't currently join as a member, but if you want to be a member, subscribe to the mailing list, and very shortly we'll have some comms going out about our new membership. Sign up. This cask, you don't need to be a member to buy a share, so the White Peak cask is open to the public, but we do have another cask coming online very, very shortly with Cooper King, which is about to be filled. My Cooper King cask owner jacket, and that is a slightly smaller cask. The actual, I mean, I literally don't know how big it is because it's literally being shipped from MB Rowland in Kentucky kind of as we speak. So when it arrives at Cooper King in Yorkshire, they'll tell me how big it is, and then we can work out how many bottle shares there will be. But that will be members only because it's going to be a lot smaller. We'll probably have about 100 shares, but that is from a very small craft Kentucky distillery being filled by a very small craft Yorkshire distillery, and again a really exciting prospect. Another ex-bourbon, but a very different one from Heaven Hill. So yeah, hopefully everyone will become a member of Exploring English Whisky, which is only £20 a year, by the way, in order to get access to things like that and discounts on festival tickets and early birds and things. So yeah, just sign up to the email, and we'll let you know everything you need to know in due course.
Brilliant.
Fab.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Richard for joining us, and I'll see you in Birmingham if I don't see you before.
Well, I hope to see you before, and thank you for setting up Still In Cask, which is obviously the best website on the internet. So,
thank you, Richard. Take care.
Okay.